At this point, Rachel Zegler makes a train wreck sound like a positive thing. The Walt Disney starlet is in even more trouble as the producer of Snow White's family is claiming she's a full-blown narcissist. Now the very few fans who remain for the Snow White actress gone insane are attacking back, and all of it giving a black eye to the House of Mouse. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Happy Friday morning, TGIF. Get out there and have a good time. And folks, we are inclined to encourage you to even try making the world a better place. It matters, yes, indeedy. Today, we're taking a look at the idea that Rachel Zegler did not make things a better place behind the scenes, all during the Snow White production fiasco. Years of Disney now having an opportunity to say, "We told you so," even if they believed what she was saying all along. They did not apparently agree with how she was saying it. We'll dive in deep. Another video of excellence on the way. Click the like button, and here we go. Take a look at this. From Steph Annie at My Nerdy Home over on X. Jonah Platt is being harassed by Rachel Zegler fans after commenting Mark Platt's visit to the actress after she made comments about El Trumpo supporters. Get ready, it's spicy, and we're going there. Jonah Platt is the son of the director of Snow White, and it turns out that perhaps the people behind the scenes were not having an all right time with the Zeglinator. Here is what evoked an emotive response from Jonah Platt. Brind13 said, "Your dad flew to New York City to reprimand a young actress? Any words on this? Because that's creepy as heck and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech. No, shame on your father." Wow. And Jonah Platt was, he felt obliged to defend his father's honor. And here's what he says back to a rando on the internet, who could be or could not be a synthetic manifestation of the chaos that Zegler has bestowed upon us all. But here's what Jonah Platt, son of the director of Snow White, had to say. "You really want to do this? Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand." Oh, things are changing, folks. The language is changing from the people who know this best. To reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics in the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability. And her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk, confirming the risk, of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. I continue to say that it is bizarre that Disney had to send the director to beg her to be within her contractual obligations. Why they didn't send some sort of mediator, I don't know. But if you have to physically send the director twice and she rebuffs you the first time, I think she's done. So
the only thing I'll point out here is Mark Platt is a producer. Mark Webb was the director.
Thank you, Jonas. I am happy to be corrected on that. I would hate to continue to be wrong about it. But as we go on, take a look at this. Trista Ginger says, and folks, I'm going to read these in the way I think they were intended to be read. "So your father really flew across the country to reprimand?" Geritol says, "Blaming your father's failure on Rachel is such a sad take. Was it her fault? Dear Evan Hansen sucked too?" And Gwen D. Quinn says, "He blocked me from his personal profile." You can see they're angry. They're angry people. They're mad that this is confirming what came out in the trades, but it is all too late for Zegler. Panel, what say you? We're getting not only are we confirming what was said, but also it's going farther. It's going beyond. Now we're hearing from the families of leadership around this production that she is a narcissist, that she did put people at risk, that she did refuse to comply, that people had to physically fly across the nation to go beg the 20-year-old, please do what you are signed to do. Panel, what make you of this? and Rachel Zegler's future?
Well, I'll start off here. You can see bring that back up real quick.
Yeah,
if you don't mind, bro.
Derek is in the screenshot.
Yeah, I'm right there in the screenshot over there on the left. Just one of the replies. Zegler fans are an absolute cult. I've been going back and forth with a few of them on X. I call them the Zeglerians because they're like this weird alien race that just falls down and worships at the feet of Rachel Zegler on everything that she does. And she can never do anything wrong. Never do anything wrong. They need more of these Zeglerians to go and buy tickets to this movie because this thing is absolutely flopping. I will say this, though. It's not 100% Rachel Zegler's fault. It's about 80% Rachel Zegler's fault that this movie is failing the way it's failing. Disney definitely shoulders some of the blame because it's just not a good movie. You know, it's just really not a very good movie. And even if Rachel Zegler was a shining star and she never did any of the things that she did, this movie would probably still be bad and it wouldn't do that well at the box office. But it really hurt the opening weekend to have all of this negativity surrounding this. To the fact that, you know, Jonah Platt had to go across the country, or excuse me, Mark Platt, I'm sorry, had to go across the country, you know, to try to get Rachel Zegler on board with, hey, let's not ruin this movie before it comes out. Let's not destroy the reputations of all of these various people that, you know, worked on this movie by, you know, spouting your nonsense. Let's not have, you know, your fellow co-star deal with death threats. Let's not have all of that. Can you tone the noise down? And then Rachel Zegler pushes back, says, nope, I'm not pulling the tweet down. It just tells you everything you need to know about her character. But shout out to Jonah Platt and his character defending his father against all of these folks. Hey, I respect that. You know, I respect the young man defending his father in the face of all of the Zeglerians that are, yeah, and they're hating him. They're absolutely pouring all of their hate on his family, on anybody that has anything negative to say about this movie. It's really wild. But yeah, they're absolutely a cult, man.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you another thing about this. For Derek, what did you call the fans, the three fans that Zegler has?
The Zeglerians.
So you're calling them the Zeglerians. I was thinking back to the Raylos, and I thought, this was weeks and months ago. I thought, if this Snow White thing actually lands and does well, maybe Zegheads is the name we're going to call them. But
that could be good.
There's less than a dozen total, Derek. So I don't know what to do. It's
like 80% of them are probably bots. You know, I don't get it. I don't know where listen, I'm sure Rachel Zegler, you know, in her private life, personal life, has a couple of friends. I wonder if she has friends. You know, does she have actual friends that are telling her, hey, Rachel, maybe slow down on some of the stuff you're putting out there on social media? You know, like we all need good friends in our lives that'll hold us accountable and call us out and say, hey, you're messing up. You're doing this wrong. Go in a different direction. It feels like she probably has a lot of yes men around her. And then her, you know, couple of fans that she, you know, subscribe to her on Instagram or whatever, all beefing her up and gassing her up and making her believe that she's better than what she is. And, you know, she's 23 years old, right? Like you have barely touched life yet. Like slow down with a lot of your commentary, especially when you're the headliner of the show, when you're the centerpiece, when you're a Disney princess, you're Snow White. You know, you need to carry yourself a certain way. And apparently she just never got that hint. She never got that message.
Well, apparently
it's funny that you call her sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, apparently the leadership of the film had to fly out to her to say, listen, the stuff you're posting is actually putting your co-star at risk. Like we're having to get security to protect Gal Gadot. Can you take it down? And she said, no. She said, no, Jonas.
I think it's fascinating when you think about the word Zeglerian, because in some way this is the perfect. This is like the icing on top of the cake of everything that Disney has been cultivating over the last 5 years. That self-praise, that self-actualization that they, as a company, seem to have been going for. It's almost as if she came down out of a weird pyramid on the top of a New York skyscraper and said, choose the form of your destroyer. And it was a little Broadway girl that views herself as intersectional and is also the most narcissistic thing that you could put in the place of the sweet little Snow White.
Well, I just see it as I think the DA, I think Derek's got it 100% because I see a terrible alien villain against the crew in Star Trek.
Well,
the Zeglerians are here.
I actually think Jonas is onto something. We have a clip of the leadership of Disney going to speak to Rachel Zegler, folks. This is exclusive. We have hidden camera footage of when they went to go convince Zegler that she should return to being somewhat normal and amicable.
As a duly designated representative of the city, county, and state of New York, I order you to cease any and all supernatural activity and return forthwith to your place of origin or to the nearest convenient parallel dimension. That ought to do it. Thanks very much, Ray.
And Zegler said no.
Are you a god, Bob?
You're not mine.
All right, guys, how unusual is all of this? I mean, the strange thing to me is we keep covering Zegler because she's not out there saying dumb things on camera anymore. This is a train wreck that keeps on pumping out the stuff as people are ready to talk now. And that's why we can't keep up with it all.
Well, because we're a daily news channel, and this is the biggest public relations disaster in the history of cinema. People died on film sets and had less of a PR problem than Snow White, for Disney's Snow White, the official title of this film. It is amazing to me that you could get someone who is so much the opposite of what you would hope for in a star to market your film. And Disney has for years tried to they have cast people in the role, but they're casting them for the marketing of films. So this is really just desserts for them. And the fact that they are casting directors for these films to say, oh, this is the such and such of this particular adjective about them, and they were oppressed or something, but they're also directing a $300 million film. Like, this is the kind of thing that was bound to happen eventually. And it's it is everything that they, like I said, everything they've cultivated over the last few years, where they are trying so hard to make everything about the production. It's not just the movie. The movie is almost a secondary thing to the narrative of the kind of things they're doing over there at Disney. Well, guess what? There's a little bit of lore around the making of Snow White, but you don't have to know any of that to enjoy the 1937 masterpiece from Walt Disney, because it is a great film. This one is going to stand there like the plaque from the Ozymandias poem that says, "Look upon me, my works, ye mighty, and despair." But it's just a piece of rubble out there in a desert. This thing is going to be studied academically because no one's going to be watching this for fun.
Well, and apparently this all stems back even further than even I was necessarily anticipating. I guess in that Variety piece article right there, it relays a story in which Rachel Zegler was a little bit miffed that she didn't get invited to the 2022 Oscars, because apparently Sean Bailey wanted to keep her out in order to properly promote Disney's Snow White, which I guess is somewhat understandable, but I guess she's been taking it out on the mouse ever since, and that's just crazy. We've heard about the production problems, obviously. We've heard about the massive reshoots, the fire that stopped production for a little while, the controversies surrounding all of that, the strikes and so forth, delaying production, Gal Gadot having to have kids in the middle of all of that. I mean, it's that would have been a story by itself, but to have all of this added on to it, the producer flying out twice to quell Rachel Zegler right there and her bombastic tweets or I should say social media posts that are doing severe damage to this movie right here. $270 million at least. We think that's a lot more, by the way. $300 million, $400 million. This is a disaster, an absolute disaster, and who knows what kind of brand damage, lasting brand damage, has been done because of all of this, because I don't think people are going to be seeing the Disney product in a vacuum like Disney would want.
Well, I, for one, would like to congratulate Zegler, because when she saw the Dial of Destiny and the train wreck that was that, with all the injuries and the pandemic stuff, she said, "Hold my spritzer." And she went for it, and she managed to make a production even worse than the Dial of Destiny. Congrats on Zegler on eclipsing KK. It's a heck of a day when you do so.
helping Hollywood produce a product that you want to consume. That's what we do each and every day, folks. And this time, it's time to, well, say goodbye. We know, but don't cry. No, for we will have more videos on the way. We love to bring those videos and that information. And by the way, if you'd like even more, consider going to the Patreon page. It's www.patreon.com/WDW It's where we put out stuff exclusively there that we simply can't put out in other places for whatever reason, be it because it's too spicy or because, well, perhaps we're working to corroborate it. But you can find out things early and first over there. Folks, we surely have had a great time spending time with you. Consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment right on down below. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.